Head basketball coach for the Pella Christian boys. And Jerry, season opener tonight. Great way to open the year out of here at Central College against Pella Community High School. Coming in, the Pella Christian boys on paper, a very solid favorite in tonight's game. What is the outlook from the inside coming in? Is this team as good as everybody says?
Well, we hope so, Paul. We hope that we can rebound from where we were a year ago, and it'd be nice to be able to start the season where you left off the year before. I don't think we'll quite be able to do that. Certainly some things have changed, and we've lost a couple kids, so you're going to have some different personnel and some new people working together on the floor. So I really feel it's going to be a great year for us. It's just a matter of getting everybody to do what they're capable of doing and look forward to finding the right combination of people in the right situations. I think we have a pretty good idea of who the main people are going to be, but we still have to have backup personnel to fit in at the right time. So we'll probably expect it to be a great team right off the bat, and I think that it's going to take a while.
One of the strengths, of course, of your Pella Christian team is returners from last year. Tell us about the folks coming back from last year that will be starting tonight, and who are the new players who have stepped into that starting lineup for the season opener?
Well, we had 3 starters back from last year, and I think, to my knowledge, they started every game for us. Ryan Klein will play 1 forward at 6'4", and he started not only last year but also as a sophomore. In fact, he was our leading scorer both as a sophomore and a junior, so we do return quite a few points in him. Inside, Mark Van Gorp at 6'6" will start at the post position. Last year in this particular game against Pella, he scored 32 points for us as a junior and just had a tremendous shooting night of 16 for 19 from the field, and I'm not sure he can duplicate that performance, but we wouldn't mind seeing that. And then one of the guards, Troy Vandermolen, returns, 6-footer. He last year was a point guard for us, and now with more experience and age coming in with us and no change personnel, he'll play the off-guard position. Which means the other 2 starters tonight will be Brent Giddings, 6'4" forward. Brent played a lot last year. I don't know that he ever started. He might have a couple games when Mark was injured. He will play the 1 forward, and he's very solid, a good 200-plus pounder in there, so a tough man on the boards. And then Eric Pothoven, the sophomore, will start at point guard. And last year as a freshman, we used him sparingly early in the season, and he came up for us toward the end. He was playing a lot of ball. Defenses that Pella will run against us. I'm also concerned about their pressure game, the way they run it. Those are things we have to handle. If we can't handle those things, we could get into some trouble.
Jerry Nickel, head basketball coach for the Pella Christian boys, and we are set for the tip-off in our boys game between Pella Christian and Pella. First with a little dunk on the front court. Bruxford, a 6'3 junior, and Mike Balcher, a 6'4 sophomore. Guard court, Randy Schmidt, a 6'1 junior, and Jeff Lucas, a 5'10 junior. Wade Van Dyke starting in the middle, the 6'3 junior. The big absentee there, of course, is Rimpey. Brad Rimpey not in the ball game here tonight as he turned an ankle in practice. Baseline jump shot right away is no good. Rebound shot. Derek Keating has it. He lost it. Klein comes away with it. He misses, and Pella Christian has the rebound again. Ryan Klein with the basketball. There's the baseline. So the young sophomore right away is going down good, but he's there to play.
I coach freshman basketball, Paul, and boy, he did a fine job for the freshman last year. You can tell he got better all year long.
Here's Balster driving in, dished off for a minute. Ball was loose, and now Lucas has it against Pella. Ryan Klein and Brent Geetings, the forward for Christian. Here's a free throw line jump shot, no good. Geetings has the rebound and saves it in to Eric Pottoven. Pottoven brings it down, drives in, turns, shoots, stands. And it's 2-0 Pella Christian. The tempo, Gord. If Pella Christian can get out and run, they could blow Pella right out of here. Pella can slow it down. They'll play with them right to the end of this one.
And most offenses nowadays on the high school level are going at the point guard, but Pella's using a two-guard front. Young sophomore really took it to the hole until he got around.
Christian with the basketball. 2-2 is the score. Here's Geeting. Turnaround from the baseline is gone. So Brent Geeting with the basket. 4-2. The 6'4 senior with the bucket. Van Gorp is the center. 6'6 senior. They complete the lineup for Pella Christian. Corey Vandermolden at one guard. Eric Pothoven at the other guard. Pothoven the sophomore.
Balcher's playing a high post position.
Andy Crowder. Balcher out on the high post, as you mentioned, and Van Gorp was out there on him. He tried to put a move on the hole that traveled. Pothoven brings it down for Pella Christian, sets up between the circles, kicks off to Vandermolen. Here's Van Gorp down on the baseline. Klein will go baseline, a little give and go off the knee of Van Gorp. Geeting finally runs it down. Van Gorp has it going in on Balster. Shot no good. Rebound taken away by Pella. And we'll have a rebound in foul side. And that'll be on Corey Vandermolen.
Interesting sequence of events. The ball hit the floor and actually bounced off the bangboard and then back into the lane. Pella Christian using a point guard offense. Pella High using a two-guard front with Balcher at the high post.
Pella brings it in from the defensive baseline. A little pressure being applied as the Eagles try to trap Pella on the near side. Little Dutch able to get it across half court. Three-point attempt is up and in and out. No good by Jeff Lucas. Rebound fought for. Here's Pella. Balster shoots and scores. Balster with another bucket. Little step shot from the baseline. It's 4-4.
Sophomore when you're playing with upperclassmen.
Pothoven takes it into the lane and draws a foul. Quick move by Pothoven. You can see why folks are excited about this sophomore. Foul on Lucas. Well, you saw Eric as a freshman last year. Did you get him much, or was he on the varsity all year?
I had Eric Pothoven for one practice until he went to the varsity. That was as much as I worked with Eric Pothoven.
First free throw by Eric is good. And Pella Christian takes a 5-4 lead. 4:59 to go, so this game's starting out rather low scoring as well. In case you missed it, Pella won the girls' game 49-47. Pothoven hits the second free throw, 6-4. Full court pressure now by the Eagles. They're really coming out and pressing. Lucas goes down, and they're going to call a foul on Pothoven. Got the knee out that time and got a piece of Lucas, and he went by. Lucas went to the floor, foul called on Pothoven. First, and the second team foul on Pella Christian.
Well, we won't have 3 fouls in the first half of this one like we did in the girls' game.
Eagles sag back on defense. Ball knocked out of bounds. Nolan. And Pella, I should say, will play it in from the far sideline. As Gord mentioned, 2 guards out in front running the show for Pella. And the pass is tipped away. Balser tried to get it down to Rob Bruxford. Somebody in there to flick it away. The ball goes out of bounds, and it will belong to Pella.
Pella Christian in his own defense now with the ball underneath, being taken in underneath the bucket.
Out front, 3-point opportunity. The lefty, Randy Smith, can't hit it. Fight for the rebound. Smith comes up with it.
Back to Lucas.
Balster off to Lucas. Here's Smith. He'll try another 3-pointer. Air ball. Higgins comes out of there with the rebound. Pothoven to Vandermolen. Inside. Nice opportunity. The air ball thrown up underneath for Pella Christian by Ryan Klein. Christian 6, Pella 4. We're at the midway point of the first quarter. Boys action coming to you live from Central College. Balser inside, kicks it out. Bruxford, 12-footer. Rob Bruxford hits a little baseline jumper, and we're tied at 6.
Balser made a nice pass from the high post to the low post, and Bruxford put the ball in the basket.
Here comes Pella Christian. Eric Pothoven walks it across the line, spins into the lane. Nice dish to Van Gorp, and he'll have an easy one. Nice dish that time from Pothoven to Van Gorp. Van Gorp with a little head and shoulders fake got his man in the air, and it was no problem.
No credit for giving the ball to Martin Gorp in that situation. It was a fine pass.
Lucas with the basketball. He gets it off to Randy Smith. Back to Lucas. Zone defense again for the Eagles. Bruxford goes baseline. Fakes, now puts up the shot. No good. Rebound fought for. Pella has it. And the Pella shot is missed. And Van Gorp comes out of there. Wade Van Dyke had the rebound. Van Gorp with the rebound. And now Van Gorp controls offensively for the Eagles. Pothoven for 3. No good. Long rebound out to Giedings. Baseline follow-up is good. Eric Pothoven missed from 3. Giedings got the follow in, and it's good.
It is really going to help Pella Christian if Mark Giedings can hit those baseline shots. There were times last year when he had those shots, he did not put the ball down. And boy, he's gotten his first 2 down. It looks like he's shooting with a lot more confidence than what he ever has.
Balser drives in on Van Gorp. Shot no good. Smith gets the rebound. He'll take it in. Force it up. No good. Ball out of bounds. Give it to Pella Christian. And Pella wants to talk things over. There's a timeout on the floor. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. First quarter. And it's Pella Christian 10 and Pella 6. Early on, Gord, I think each team has had opportunities where they have controlled it. We talked about that early. If Pella can slow down Pella Christian, it'll certainly be to their advantage, and vice versa. If Pella Christian can get the running game going, both teams have had some success.
Well, and you notice when Pella brings the ball up, they're taking 8-10 seconds off the clock. There were a couple of times when the official was counting down to his hand, and I know he made 6 hand motions, so 6 seconds had gone by, and that's what they're attempting to do. They don't want to let Pella Christian run. They want to stay in the ball game, and if they can control the tempo, you know, it could be a close ball game. Balser, I've been impressed with the way he's handled a high post position, too. He made a real nice dish to Bruxford. Bruxford got the jumper.
Balser certainly is there to play. There's no doubt about that. A sophomore coming out. He could have been intimidated by Van Gorp, but so far it's not been the case. He has taken it right to him, given up a couple of inches in height, and also given up a lot as far as weight's concerned. Let me look it up if we have the weight. Van Gorp checked in at 195. And Balser is at 166, so right around a 30-pound difference.
You can see it on the floor. There's a lot of difference in the size of those 2 kids.
Here comes Pella Christian. Eric Pothoven with the basketball. Van Gorp in the lane. Shot no good. Giedings tipped out his good.
Giedings is 3 for 3 from the field. He's put all 3 attempts in. 2 baseline jumpers and that follow through.
Balster travels. We've seen that a couple times. And that's something a young sophomore has to work on. He gives the fake and shuffles his feet when he gets on the move.
Generally, that's a sign of the intimidation because you want to make a move that you normally don't make in practice, and then you travel.
Kevin Pothoven is in the lineup, so it's freshman against sophomore out in the front. Eric Pothoven is a soft. Kevin is a freshman, and Eric Pothoven drives right around. Kevin Pothoven that time. Balster comes over to help out and draws the foul.
Looks like that play was exclusively set up for Eric Pothoven driving to the basket. Didn't get the basket, but did draw the foul.
Jerry Nichols saw the new point guard in there. Decided to give Eric a chance to go one-on-one. Took it inside, and Balster helping out draws the foul. John Bogalar checks into the lineup for Pella. Bogalar, Van Dyke, Bruxford, Smid, and Pothoven the lineup for Pella. Eric Pothoven hits the first of his free throws. Giddings, Pothoven, Klein, Vandermolen.
Pothoven has hit all 3 of his free throw attempts. Fine free throw shooter.
Pothoven's second one is good, and Pella Christian starting to pull away. It's 14-6. There's a steal underneath. Klein lost control of the ball. Rebound shot by Pothoven. No good. Tip is good by Giddings. Good man.
He's 4 for 4 from the field.
Bogalar will shoot from the outside. In off the bench, and Bogalar with the first bucket.
Right off the bench, Paul. That doesn't happen very often either because it usually takes a few seconds to get in the flow of the game.
Here come the Eagles, 16-8. Pella Christian on top, 1:13, first quarter. Three-pointer for Vandermolen. Good. Troy Vandermolen buries the three-pointer. It's now 19-8.
Bogalar.
Yeah! Oh, John Bogalar.
He's really put those 2 up with confidence. It was all net.
They gave him 3 on that. I'll be darned. He was inside the line. Here's a three-pointer by Klein. It's an air ball. Bruxford has the rebound. George Ware is off the bench telling his guys to slow it down. Trying to get the attention of his freshman point guard, Kevin Pothoven. Bogalar with the basketball. Bounces it over to Smid. Smid with a nice move, kicks it out. Bogalar travels. Not Bogalar, that's Pothoven.
Right. And I believe the offensive set that time was a 1-2-2. So maybe with Pothoven in there, then they're going to go with the other offense. The other 2 guards, Lucas, and I forget who's the other guard, Paul, who started for Pella.
That's Randy Smid.
Right.
That's the other guard, and he's still out there.
But he moved down into a wing position rather than playing a...
Last time this Pella varsity basketball team was on the floor, it was the floor at Vets Auditorium in the state championship. And a lot of the players are different from that game last March.
Same uniform from same price, Paul.
And we've got steps called on Pella Christian as Brad Winja checks into the lineup, and he's called for steps. 1 second to go in the first quarter. 19-11. Pella Christian leads it. Bruxford pulls the trigger, and time expires. So 1 quarter is in the books. Central College in our boys game. And it's Pella Christian 19 and Pella 11. We'll be back in a moment.
Tonight's game is brought to you today on Broadway.
Welcome back to Kuiper Gymnasium on the campus of Central College in Pella. Tonight we bring you high school basketball action from the college arena. It's the girls and boys doubleheader to start the season off between Pella Christian and Pella. The girls contest earlier, Pella with the upset over the number 14 Eaglettes, 49-47. And in boys action, we get started in the second quarter with the Eagles of Pella Christian leading the Little Dutch 19-10. They have corrected that basket we talked about a minute ago, Paul. I didn't think it was a three-pointer by Vogelar, and sure enough, they've got it corrected. It was a two-pointer, and that makes it 19-10.
Well, you were right in the first place, Paul.
This one is a three for Vogelard. No good. Rebound is taken away by Pella Christian. Here come the Eagles. Pella back on defense pretty good. Inside. Foul is drawn in the basket count. Nice move underneath by Brad Winja.
It's going to be a fine prospect, Paul. He's just a junior and played sophomore ball last year, but he's going to be a fine asset to this ball club.
We got Wade Van Dyke up in the air and then jumped into him when he went up for the shot. Just like you're supposed to do it. Can't draw it up any better than that. Three-point opportunity. Free throw is no good. And he commits the foul going after the rebound. So a little frustration that time as he followed up his shot, tried to get it back after the miss, and he fouls Kevin Pothoven. First on Winja and third on Pella Christian. 21-10, Eagles by 11.
Let's see what zone press the Eagles are in here. Looks like a 2-2-1. Pothoven and Vandermolen in the front. Wienia, Geetings at half court, and Mark Dorf is all the way back.
2-1, they try for the trap right at the half court line. Kevin Pothoven able to get it there. Pella throws the ball away. Van Dorf with the loose ball. Here comes long down court pass to Mullen. Nice pass inside to Winja. Ball skipped away. And now Pella Christian has it back. Eric Pothoven drives in. Scoop shot is good. Pothoven off the glass gives Pella Christian a 13-point lead. 23-10. Pella with the basketball. Kevin Pothoven losing it. Still loose. Finally, Vogelard comes out of there with it. Pothoven kicks it off to Smid, who will drive in. He loses control. Pella Christian has it. Now there's a scramble for it. And there's a scramble in there somewhere on the call.
I think that call's made sometimes by officials when they don't know what else to call.
I was about to call first and 10.
They want to clean up the act, and, traveling is the call, so you give it to one team, and let's start over, guys.
The traveling call goes against Pella. George Ware's off the bench with a push for the official. He didn't see the travel. Here come the Eagles. They lead 23-10. Pothoven with the basketball. Left side, they swing it around. Van Dorp has it down in the corner. Inside to Winja. He drives in. Shot up is good, and he is fouled. No, they wave off the basket. Oh, they count the basket. An undercut call that time. It's going to go against Wade Van Dyke. Official came out. I thought he was going to wave it off for a minute, but he counts the basket. Winja right back at the line for another shot at a three-point opportunity.
There's a lot of contact in there on that particular play. Brad Wienia tried to make the good move, and there was contact.
This one's starting to get out of hand here in a hurry. Pella Christian 25 and Pella 10. Winja hits the free throw. Biggest lead for the Eagles, 16 points. Full court pressure as Pella Christian tries to go for the jugular. Geetings almost had the steal, but kicked it in the hand. Coach Jerry Nichols on the ropes, and he wants to move in and take advantage of this momentum that the Eagles have right now. A veteran squad from Pella Christian against a young team for Pella, and it's showing on the scoreboard, 26-10. Lance Klein in the lineup for Pella. There's Volster. Around to Lucas. And Pella struggling a bit on offense now. And foul underneath. As number 32, Wade Van Dyke, down there jockeying for position with Greg Ecoff, who was checked into the lineup for Pella Christian. And Ecoff is charged with the foul. 6 minutes, 1 second left first half. Pella Christian 26 and Pella 10. 14 fouls now on each squad, so next foul either way will mean a bonus opportunity. Pella swings it around the top, underneath. Bruxford spins and hits the bucket. Bruxford with two. And it's back to a 14-point ball game, 26-12. thinks about the three-pointer. Goes underneath. There's the shot. Foster with another block. He's got a couple. He blocked Ryan Klein that time. Foster with the basketball, and underneath we've got a foul on the rim job. Whistle on Brad Winja for the foul. And that'll be number 1 on Brad. Substitutions coming in. Smid for Pella. Van Gorp back in for Pella Christian. Well, Mark Van Gorp has been fairly silent offensively. The other players have been doing the majority of the scoring. He just really hasn't touched the ball that much.
Well, that's exactly right. And with Woody Klein, Ryan Klein, the same situation. Scoring is coming from Geeding, Pothoven.
Free throw is good by Wade Van Dyke. Makes it 26-13. Got the scoreboard reversed up there. They gave that point to Pella Christian. Now they're getting her straightened up. Second one is good. 26-14. Pella Christian leads by 12.
No pressure by Pella. They go back and they're playing the man-to-man defense.
Van Gorp posting up on Foster inside. Pass a little too tall for him. Loose underneath. Van Dyke he gives it off to Lucas. Here come the Little Dutch. Smid picks up the dribble. Needs to get rid of it. Back out to Smid. Three-point opportunity. No good. And the rebound taken away by Ekoff. Ekoff to Pothoven. Eric will push it up the left side. He goes into the lane, and he's going to be called for the charge. Sergeant foul on Eric Pothoven that time, and that's his second. Perhaps a youngster mistake that time. He'll take it where there was no room.
He'll pick up a few of those this year because he's an aggressive ball player, and part of the offense is to have him take the ball to the hole. So he will pick up some charges this year.
A timeout on the floor. 26-14 is the score. Pella Christian out in front of this ball game, and so far to this point, Gord, things look pretty much like any surprises either way?
No, I don't think so. I expected Pella to slow it down. I think that's the way you compete against a veteran ball club, and I'm sure George Ware considers Pella Christian a veteran ball club. The veteran ball club is going to try to run, so you know Pella's going to try to slow it down. There haven't been that many fast break buckets, although there's a difference in the offense in that generally Pella's making 4 or 5 passes before they shoot the ball. Pella Christian 1 or 2.
Pella Christian, they just can't wait to shoot. They want to keep things moving. They cannot wait to get down and shoot. Not to say that they haven't exercised patience, they have, but boy, they're ready. They are ready to go on offense.
They don't score a lot of points, but to run with them.
Well, that's exactly what Pella is trying to avoid in this ball game. That's never been a secret, as George Ware's outlined his pregame plan. 26-14, the Eagles on top. Pella in a position to get back within 10.
And Pella Christian in the 1-2-2 zone right now. Woody Klein's got the point. Kevin Rose is in there along with Eric Pothoven on the top.
And Foster's going to be called for that same travel. Shuffled his feet a little bit. First time we've seen that. Away with that one in the pickup games, but officials watch for it out here in the competition.
I think in the last 4 minutes of this second quarter, you're going to see some reserves playing as well.
Well, that's certainly the case now. Pella Christian with a lot of new faces out there. Kyle Jansen has checked in. Van Gorp has the ball. He kicks it off to Kevin Roast, who's in there. And a scramble after Rosa misses. Van Gorp underneath. He powers it up and scores.
Woody Klein made the real fine assist there. He and Van Gorp have played together for a while. You can tell that.
Smid with the basketball, and we're going to have a foul called out front on Kevin Rosa. Pella Christian leads Pella. 3:54 to go first half. Geedings back into the lineup for the Eagles. Geedings is in there along with Klein. Rosa in the lineup. And also checking in Kyle Jansen and Van Gorp. Free throw, no good by Smith, out of bounds. It belongs to Pella Christian.
I don't think you'll see much pressure from Pella tonight. I think if they put the pressure on in the backcourt, and Pella Christian beats that, Pella Christian's going to get the easy bucket. So I think you'll see them play the straight half-court man-to-man defense.
Pella playing conservative on defense. That's right, Gord. They're not in a position to force the action. Van Gorp will be called for traveling. Took it inside, got the bucket to go, but called for extra steps. A little bit off balance that time. Looks like he might have hit his foot on somebody else's foot.
I think that's what caused the traveling in that particular case.
Kevin Pothoven, freshman point guard, brings it up for Pella, off to Volster. Pothoven again. Zone defense for Pella Christian.
And Volster's at the high post again. 2-1-2 set against the zone defense.
Ball tipped away by the Eagles. Here they come on the break. Jansen, outnumbered 1-on-3, slows it up, waits for some help. Klein from outside, no good. Volster with the rebound, nice position on Van Gorp. The pace has slowed down a bit in this ball game right now. Inside, Bruxford. He's going to be called for traveling. If he'd have went up with it to begin with, he would have been okay, but he got a little hesitant, took a little bunny hop.
And I think if you end up with a couple traveling calls like they had on Volster early in the ball game, the officials are pretty conscious of what they should be in this situation right now.
There's a steal by Bruxford. He takes it in and lays it home. Bruxford with the steal and 28-16. Pella back within 12. Here's a pass to Van Gorp down on the baseline. Kicks it out to Rosa. And Jansen has the basketball. Off to Van Gorp. Outside jump shot. Ryan climbs off the basket and he's fouled after the shot. Rob Bruxford going to block him. Klein took the shot. Shot went down, and now Ryan will go to the line for 1-1. A potential 4-point play. Troy Vandermolen back into the lineup for Pella Christian. 30-16 with 2:20 to go in the second quarter. Klein comes back in for Pella. That's Lance Klein. And Ryan Klein is on the line for Pella Christian. It's on the way and good. That's a 1-1. Everybody on the court thought it was the completion of a three-point play, just a single shot.
Well, as far as Pella's concerned, a play like that really, really hurts because he got the bucket and then the foul after the release of the ball. So 4-point play with Ryan Klein complete.
And Ryan Klein gets a big 4-point play, makes it 32-16 with 2:20 to go in the first half. Ball nearly knocked down by Winja. Pothoven drives. The pressure bothering Pella, no doubt about that. They need to hurry to get it across the line. We're at about 8-9, and they do get it across to Lance Klein. Volster from the baseline, air ball. Giddings comes out of there with it. Here comes Pella Christian, stop and pop. Vandermolen hits a big bucket by Troy Vandermolen from just inside the arc, 34-16.
Right now, Pella's really having a lot of difficulty with the pressure.
Smith with the basketball around top to Kevin Pothoven. He goes in, ball knocked away by Van Gorp. Scramble for it. Pothoven steps on the sideline, belonging to Pella Christian. And it was 28-16, you remember a minute ago. So Pella Christian has scored 6 in a row. Really threatening to blow this open right before halftime.
They're running a big sequence. They're running a variety of offenses now. Now they have Marcus Gorp at the high post. Kyle Jansen and Troy Vandermolen inside.
Vandermolen with 3 people on him, forces it up, no good. Giddings with the rebound, follow shot is good. And Bert Giddings having a whale of a ball game. There's the ball almost stolen by Vandermolen. He's going to be called for the foul, however. And we'll go to the other end for 1-1. Smith will get to shoot the bonus. second on Vandermolen. Pella Christian 36, Pella 16. Capacity crowd at Kuiper Gymnasium on the campus of Central College for the annual double dip between Pella and Pella Christian. Girls game tonight won by Pella. An upset knocking off the 14th ranked PC Eaglettes 49-47. This ball game, at least at this juncture, Gord, doesn't appear to be the same kind of ball game as far as a close finish is concerned.
Well, I think there's a difference between boys and girls when it comes to experience. Somehow it just seems like if the guys have the experience is really going to dominate.
Smith misfired on the front end of the 1-1. Here comes Pella Christian. Vandermolen forces one up, no good. Rebound taken away by Bruxford. There it again, Pella Christian not showing a lot of patience, which could hurt him in a closer game. We'll be out here next Tuesday night, don't forget, as Pella Christian takes on the top-ranked team in the state, Washington. We'll be on the air at 7:45 next Tuesday night. Ball lost out of bounds by Rob Bruxford, belongs to Pella Christian.
Early in the game, Pella handled Pella Christian's pressure, but right now the pressure's bothering them, and then even when they get the ball down in their half-court offense, they aren't running it well.
Eagles have the ball, 34 seconds to go in the first half. May see him play for one. Certainly appears to be the plan. Down to 25 seconds. Giddings will shoot from outside and miss. Rebound comes out to Pella. Lucas. And the foul will be called on Anderson. That'll be his third. Brooklyn. He's going to have to go to the bench here for the final 15 seconds. Sure can't leave him in there and miss that fourth foul.
Well, and here comes another guard. Kevin Rosa comes in, and I would imagine Kyle Jansen and Kevin Rosa will run the two guard spots.
At the line, Jeff Lucas, his first trip, and he banks it in. Kept the call, though, don't you, Gord?
And turned to the bench and gave a big smile because he banked it off the board.
Ryan Klein checks into the lineup. Ryan Klein's a very slim young man, but he's got big shoulders. Square shoulders for sort of a skinny frame. Second free throw is no good. Rosa with the rebound. Eagles working it across half court. 5 seconds left. Klein will take it in. Cut off on the baseline to Giddings. Shot is up. No good. Tip no good. Tip is no good. And the half comes to an end. The Pella Christian boys giving the Eagle fans something to cheer about. They try to forget the 2-point loss in the girls' game. In boys' action, it's been all Pella Christian. 36-17 is the score. We'll be back in a moment. Tonight's game is brought to you at Central College. Halftime of our boys' contest tonight, 36-17. Pella Christian has really owned this ball game from the start. Pella came out and played even, for about 2 or 3 minutes, it seemed, Gord. We were at 6-6, but from that point out, Pella Christian has really dominated this ball game, and as you mentioned, experience really shows in this boys' contest.
I don't know. It just seems like if you compare girls to guys in the 6-on-6 girls game, you can recognize experience. But I think that experience that the girls game the previous season maybe comes around more, around Christmas time and following that. And if they've worked on the game during the off season, played together a lot, and boy, I tell you, these kids know each other well. They know where they are on the court and so forth. And as you said, experience really pays off.
The lack of experience is evident on the Pella side, too. You've got some obvious young talent out there where we're not looking at a good team versus a bad team. We're looking at an experienced team against a young team. And when you've got a sophomore like Balcher doing the things he does, he's not some edges, but he's diamond in the rough. Well, you can tell that the experience of the
we're doing games 2 and 3 years from now, Paul, and the same thing with the Conner became a freshman for Pella. He's one of the three ball players. And freshman ball or junior high ball going right to the varsity. He found out it's very popular for Christian last year, too. He was playing a lot more at the end of the year than what he was at the beginning. And you can be a ball player and find athletic capabilities, but when you're 14 years old and you play against kids who are 17 and 18, there's a big difference in maturity. And even Jerry Pothoven has filled out a lot, and you've got to have some weight in there to hold your own. So you can be a fine ball player, but you can also be pushed around. Pella Christian really took Pella out of the offense in the second quarter. They put pressure on in the backcourt, and then they could not come down and run their offense very well. I'm sure that will change when we come out in the third quarter, because George Wells will get that straightened around. He's got enough offenses that he's worked with that they'll get that balanced out. They'll get some good shots in the third quarter.
Our unofficial halftime statistics show Pella Christian 13 of 20 from the field, 65%. That includes 1 of 2 from three-point line. Pella Christian also doing quite well with a 9, 7 of 8. 88%. He's a very strong performance at the free throw line. Pella's 7 of 16 in the first half for 45% from the field, and 3 of 6 at the free throw line for 50%. Pella also misfired on all 4 of their three-point opportunities, so Pella, trying to make some big things happen early, decided to pop from long range, and it was not to be as they go 0 for 4 from outside. The play of Brent Geeting has to be the big story in the first half for Pella Christian. Brent, not really what you call a question mark coming in, but perhaps everything he does above what's expected is a bonus. And for his first half was fantastic.
No doubt about that. Ryan, of course, has started since his sophomore year, and you know Ryan's going to get his points. He doesn't have those tonight. I think he's got he took 1 3-point shot, and instead he's got 1 field goal, and he's got 2 points from the line. You know, all year long, he's going to be a steadying influence in there. The same thing with Mark and Gore. Brent Geeting was a reserve last year, played in particular situations, but he often had that baseline shot from 10 to 14 feet, and didn't always put that in the basket last year. First 5 shots he took tonight, and I think 4 of those were from the baseline. 1 was with an offensive board where he put the ball up and got the shot, but those 5 went in, and he's 5 out of 7 in the first half, so that's really a plus for Pella Christian.
Don't want to put this game to bed quite yet. We're still at halftime, but while we have a second break, let's look ahead to Tuesday night. The preseason rankings came out from the Marine Washington number 1 in 5-2-8, and Pella Christian at number 4. So that matchup next Tuesday night out here at Central College already kind of what's your appetite for some third and
I went down to Washington to see our ball game with them, and that was a fine ball game last year. Washington has a ball player. I think he was a 6-team All-Stater last year. A youngster by the name of Steve Brown, who's now a senior, who is just a fine ball player. He averaged 25 points a ball game. The Register confirmed that this morning in their write-up on Washington, and that should be a really fine ball game. Dave Tremble has been at Washington for a number of years as a coach, and I'd say he's one of the premier coaches in the state of Iowa, and he's really got that program going, and that should be a fine ball game. I hope we get a good Pella Christian crowd out for that. Bleachers are, 7-8 full. You can get a few more people in here, but I hope we have a lot of support for that Tuesday night game. Maybe not all the young kids will be here. Next day. But there are a lot of young kids here, too.
Central College will have a that game next Tuesday. If you can't make it out, tune us in on the new 92 FM KRLS. And, well, if you are coming out, why don't you bring a radio and join Gordon and myself as we bring you all the action. Number 4 versus number 1. That will be next Tuesday night. We do want to thank the Sportscasters Club. You've heard their messages throughout the ball game. Wanted to show your appreciation for KRLS by visiting the members of our Sportscasters Club very soon. Halftime 46-17. We'll be back in just a moment. 17, the halftime score. Pella Christian on top of Pella. The Eagles are back out on the floor as we are about about a minute and change away from the start of the second half. In girls action earlier tonight, fantastic ball game won by the Pella girls. Pella knocking off 14th ranked Pella Christian. Final score 49-47. So a big win for Mike Vint as he tries to rebuild his squad. Mike was 68-14 since Mike Vint started. Now 69-14 over Pella. So as you talked about earlier, Gord, Mike Vint has really put that Pella girls program on the map.
You really got to give a guy like that credit because he came in and the Pella girls tradition was not very strong in basketball, and Mike came in and was blessed with some fine athletes, and he's done a super job. He's interested in the program, and boy, they've had a lot of success in that South Central Conference. They really have.
36-17 is the score at halftime in our boys contest tonight. And as we talked a little bit before, our next broadcast of high school basketball on the new 92 FM will be next Tuesday night as Pella Christian takes on Washington out here at Central College. 7:45 will be on the air for that one. Next Friday, it will be Pella and Knoxville boys action. The Knoxville boys favored in the South Central Conference, and we'll have Knoxville and Pella boys action next Friday night on KRLS. Well, we're about set to go here, second half, so as soon as the teams get on out there, then we'll be ready to go. 36-17 at the half. Pella Christian in control of this basketball game. And Gord, I don't know if there's much we can do to make the second half dramatic. Let's just say Pella coming out here the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, put together 6 points in a row, then start to chip away. That's the shot for the Little Dutch. If they don't get something done here early coming out of halftime, then they really don't have a chance.
Well, they don't want to come out and do things that they can't do, and I think you're right. I think that's what they have to do. They have to play their game, and they have to stick with their game plan and nibble away at the lead and see if they can make this a good ball game.
Eric Pothoven with the basketball as the Eagles take it. He'll go all the way to the hoop. He was fouled out on the floor. Foul will be called on Jeff Lucas.
Temptation for young kids is to really go away from the game plan which they had designed, and particularly when you're behind.
Inbounds to Giddings. His little baseline jump shot is there. I'll tell you, Gord, that shot will make or break Brent Giddings, and tonight he has been right on. Ballster might have traveled, no call. Goes in on Van Gorp, no good. Giddings had the rebound. Ballster mugs him underneath, no call. Loose ball comes out to Eric Pothoven. Here come the Eagles. Van Gorp baseline. Kicks it out to Giddings. Underneath, Klein. Little hook pass. Vandermolen. And he traveled. He faked the shot. Randy Smith will have to block it, and Smith actually caught the ball on his leg. Vandermolen tried to go somewhere, and he couldn't leave without the ball. Vogelaar, air ball, and the rebound taken away by Van Gorp. Well, the pace is certainly a fast one here as we start the third quarter. 38-17. Here's Ryan Klein, baseline move, shot is good. Pella Christian with the first 4 points of the half. It's now 40-17.
He really protected the ball well to get that shot off.
Pella works the ball. Lucas has it out front. And you're right, they're not going to get out of their game plan. Shot partially blocked. Van Gorp goes upstairs to get it. And here come the Eagles. Van Gorp outside. Will he take the three-pointer? No, a 23-point lead, not quite enough for that site.
I think if he takes the three-pointer, he goes to the bench.
Pothoven cut off. He kicks it out to Vanderlinden. Here's Van Gorp, baseline. Double team, kicks it out. Three-point shot on the way by Vandermolen is no good. Long rebound, still loose, and it'll come all the way into the backcourt. Vandermolen will get it. Down to the baseline, Giddings. Short jump shot is no good, and Smith comes away with it. Giddings commits the foul. A little frustration, foul trying to get the ball back. Well, that time Giddings was wide open, just tried to aim it. Tried to aim it in, and it wasn't to be. Kevin Pothoven will check in for Pella. Well, as a new person in Pella, Gord, what's the kinship among the Pothovens here, any?
I believe it. I believe these two guys are first cousins. I believe their dads are brothers, if I'm correct on that. I'll probably get a phone call tomorrow that they aren't now.
Mid goes in, gets the basket, but he's going to be called for the player control charge. It's been confirmed, Gord, they are first cousins.
I was fortunate on that one.
40-17. You got a game when you start talking about family trees.
I've been here 15 years and I still don't know all the people.
Eric Pothoven, no good. Rebound will be lost out of bounds. It'll belong to Pella. Looks like Bruxford touched the last, but the officials say no. Ball belongs to the Little Dutch. Vandermolen against Kevin Pothoven. Kevin drives in, stops and pops. Shot no good. Rebound for Van Gorp. He'll dish it off to Eric Pothoven. Spin move by Eric Pothoven underneath Ryan Klein. Shot no good. Gets his own rebound. Has it stripped away. Here comes Pella on the break. Little Dutch get a chance to run. Kevin Pothoven to Smith. And shot is good.
What an assist. That was beautiful.
Good looking assist by the freshman, Kevin Pothoven.
Maybe Coach Wares will look at that and decides that he can run.
The good looking break. Here's Geetings all alone. Missed the layup. Kevin Pothoven walks it across the timeline for Pella. And a foul will be called on Van Gorp as, in effect, he went sliding by the big guy for Pella, Mike Balster.
You tell what happens to high school kids, Paul, when they don't have to make the play. It's not a must, and then the play kind of deteriorates.
Balster off to Smith. Here's Kevin Pothoven. Vogelar from outside, and he hits it.
He's a good shooter. He proved that in the first half, and he got those 2 buckets down right off the bench, and here again he puts the ball in the basket.
Certainly not bashful coming off the bench. Pothoven drives in, and he's fouled by Bruxford. Rob a little unsure about the call. Didn't know where he picked up the foul. 40-21. Pella Christian by 19 over Pella. Here's Geetings underneath and he gets the basket. Well, Geetings just needs a little company. That's his only problem. As long as he's in traffic, he's okay.
Pella Christian still in the man-to-man defense.
Balster from outside, no good. Bruxford rebound and he's fouled by Geetings. Little push foul as Bruxford tried to go back up with it. And is that going to be a 2 or a 1-and-1? They're going to say it was on the rebound before the follow shot, so Pella puts it in play. 3 team fouls each way now here in the second half. Vogelar drives in, kicks it off to Kevin Pothoven. He'll take it in, kicked off. Bruxford, shot up, no good. Fought for. Klein has it. Off to Eric Pothoven. Nice pass underneath to Van Gorp. Excellent speed by Vandermolen.
What a beautiful, beautiful assist.
Balster fakes Van Gorp up, and the shot is partially blocked. Here comes Pella Christian. Underneath, Klein turns, shot off the glass is good. And Coach George Wells really wants a timeout. And finally, Vogelar sees him and stops the action.
Brian Klein really a complete ball player, Paul. Really can use the glass and knows where he is on the court. Previous play, too, with Mark and Gorp. Boy, Vandermolen gave him a good assist. He was moving to the basket, and boy, with a lot of confidence, he put the ball in the basket.
That's one of those where the big guy is coming in, and you make eye contact when you're out about the top of the circle, and Van Gorp was up in the air when he took the pass and just pivoted his body and put it off the glass.
And that's the difference between varsity ball and freshman ball. I always tell my kids, there's no way the big man can handle the ball when he's moving to the basket. So you start with their feet under him, and then gradually you can make a move like that to a junior and senior if you keep working on it.
46-21, Pella Christian has blown open to their biggest lead now, 25 points. We have 3:26 to go, third period.
Yeah, the play just 2 minutes previous to that was really, really ragged, but it's really picked up for Pella Christian right now.
Eagles on a roll. They rattled off 6 points there in a hurry. After they got out 40-17, kind of cooled off. Pella brought it back to 40-21. But Pella Christian just bang, 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 6 points on the board, 46-21. Now 25 points represents their biggest lead. And again, the Pella Little Dutch have to just keep working on their offense. Don't abandon the game plan. Don't even worry about the scoreboard, really. Just try to make some good things happen here in the final quarter and a half. Schmidt for three. No good. Rebound loose, and Klein comes out of there with it. Underneath, Vandermolen. His shot is blocked by Schmidt. And we're going to have a foul called on Kevin Pothoven. I'll be honest, I didn't exactly see what happened, Gord. It was away from the ball a bit.
I missed that, too.
A break of sorts for Pella because Pella Christian was right there. I believe Klein came up with the ball and dropped it through. So, ironic that a foul saves you in a way, but that's what happened there for Pella.
Now we've got to have a towel out on the floor as we had bodies flying, and boy, the kids are really sweating. So
the synthetic surface out here at Kuiper Gymnasium, the rubberized tartan surface for Central. Ryan Klein puts it in. Eric Pothoven takes it in the corner. He'll feed it out to Vandermolen. Long jumper for Klein is no good. And Vogelaar comes out of there with the rebound. There's a steal by Vandermolen. He'll go in on Vogelaar. Shot no good. A lot of contact, no foul. And Kevin Pothoven comes out of there with it. He's going to take it in, and he tried to dish it off. And the ball goes out of bounds. Tried to hit Wade Van Dyke, but just a little too quick with the pass.
I'm sure Troy Vandermolen wishes he could have that one back because he probably should have pulled up and waited for some help and got a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 type situation.
46-21. Pella Christian in command. Here's Geetings. Turnaround jump shot. No good. Tip try by Van Dorf is good. He went over the top of Ralston. That's where the 2-inch height advantage really paid off. He went over the back, not in the basketball sense, because over the back is a foul when you make a lot of contact. He simply just reached over the top of him. Lucas drives in. His pass is intercepted by Van Dorp. Mark coming down. Lost control of the ball. And the ball out of bounds. Going to belong to Pella. Try as he might, there was no way Mark was going to beat the little guys down to the hoop. He wanted to break loose for the dunk.
And I think, again, just as Vandermolen a few seconds before, Mark probably wishes he could have that one back.
Big guys get the ball and see nothing between them and the basket, and all of a sudden they're thinking slam jam. Here's Lucas, bounce pass, nice feed to Bruxford. Shot is up, partially blocked. Scramble for it underneath, and it's going to be Pella Christian coming out of there with it. Brad Winjup. Long jump shot. Eric Pothoven buries it.
That's the first shot of the second half.
50-21. In a 14-4 third quarter. Ball nearly stolen away. Who's going to come out of there with it? Lucas has it. He'll drive in, dishes underneath to Van Dyke, and his shot is good.
They're going to get better, though, Paul. I saw a move here 2 minutes or 3 minutes ago by Pothoven, too, where he did the right thing, but they didn't get the ball in the basket, but they know the game, and if they know the game already, they're going to get better with experience.
Winja, spin move and a pass underneath to Van Dorp, tipped away, ball lost out of bounds. It'll belong to Pella.
Seems like about every other time now offensively there's a turnover. I think kids lose their concentration in a game where you end up with the differential being as great as what it is.
Substitutions in for Pella Christian. Steve DeBruin checks in, a 5'11 junior. Also into the lineup is Jansen again. Kyle Jansen, 6-foot senior. And Pella throws the ball away. Lucas thought Van Dyke was going to stay out on the wing, and he instead cut to the hoop. Ball goes out of bounds, and it belongs to Pella Christian. come the Eagles. Jansen with the basketball. Off to Klein. Klein will drive in. Kicks it off to DeBruin. Here's Winja. Baseline move. Shot off the glass. No good. He was fouled by Balser.
You've got to give the Pella kids credit, Paul. They still have their heads up and they're working hard. It wouldn't exactly be my dream as a coach either to play an experienced team when you've got a bunch of young kids and graduated as many seniors as what Coach Wares did last year.
Winja at the line for Pella Christian. 38 seconds to go, third quarter, 50-23, the Eagles lead it. And when you look up and down the roster for Pella, there's only 3 seniors. Brad Rippey, one of them, he's out of action tonight. You have to wonder what effect he would have had in the ball game. Certainly would have been a plus for Pella. Free throw is missed out there by Winja, but it'd be hard to say whether he would have been a game difference maker, if you will. Sometimes I have to make up words, Gorge. You'll have to excuse me. Second free throw is good by Winja. There are only 2 other seniors in addition to Rempe on this team, so it's a very young Pella basketball team. Vogelar off to Klein. And Klein feeds the ball out to Jamie Bogard, one of the seniors, and he is checked in. Jamie Bogard, Brad Rempe, and Dennis Bogard are the only seniors on this roster for Pella. A young team. 18 seconds to go, third quarter, 51-23, Pella Christian in command.
And I think in contrast to that, I think Pella Christian has 7 seniors.
Teams on opposite ends of the experience spectrum. Here's a move inside by Bruxford. Can't get the basket. And here come the Eagles. Long shot at the buzzer is no good, and at the end of 3 quarters, it's Pella Christian 51 and Pella 23. A 15-6 advantage in that quarter for Pella Christian. We'll be right back to Central College in a moment.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the KRL Seed, Fertilizer, Chemicals, Seed, and Grain Storage. The Farmers Co-op Exchange of Pella.
We begin the fourth quarter. Pella Christian 51, Pella 23, and immediately the Eagles come away with the basketball. Underneath, Eric Pothoven loses control. He was fouled by Rob Bruxford. Pothoven will go to the line. And Pella Christian is in the bonus. We will see whether that was called a shooting foul or a 1-and-1. It is a 1-and-1 opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see how this fourth quarter is officiated. Many times in a game like this, well, it makes a difference on the officials. Some will call it as closely as what they have in the first 3. Some of them want to get the game over with and won't call what they did in the first 3 quarters. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing is called in the final quarter.
Eric Pothoven makes the first one.
I think that's his first free throw in this second half. He is 5 for 5 on the evening.
Of course, if officials got paid by the hour, they'd go the other way with it, wouldn't they?
That's right.
Pothoven's second one is good. 53-23. The lead has reached 30.
Pella Christian showing some pressure here at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
And a 10-second call. I think Jerry Nickel doing that more than anything to give his players confidence in that pressure.
That's exactly right. You know what he's thinking about is Tuesday night, and this is a little bit different press setup than what they had previously.
He wants the guys to feel what it's like to get that 10-second call. It's not a case of trying to rub it in or run up the score at all, but regardless of what's up on the scoreboard, you still have to work and do the things that you need to do, help the young men learn, and so you can help yourself out later in the season.
And I think that's understood by both ball clubs. I think both ball clubs have veteran coaches, and you recognize what the other squad is trying to do in the fourth quarter.
One of of the things you don't hear as much in basketball. In football, when one team gets way up, you get into the third and fourth quarter, they're expected to fall on the ball or else they're accused of running up the score. You don't really hear that as much in basketball.
No, that's right. Once in a great while, you hear that type of thing where the starters are kept in too long and that kind of thing. But, we're at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and I'm sure these guys will probably play 2 or 3 minutes and run the press, and then in the rest of the game, you'll see the reserves.
Pella Christian will put the ball in play from the near sideline in the forward court after getting the 10-second call on Pella. 53-23. Eagles have the basketball. Vandermolen throws it away. Bruckford with the steal. Here comes Rob Bruckford. He lays it up and missed it. Rebound taken away by Lucas. His feet inside. To Van Dyke is put up. No good. Long outlet pass is thrown away. Lucas comes out of there with it. And the foul called on Troy Vandermolen. Blocking foul. That's his fourth, and after all that, it'll be Pella basketball. Rob Bruckford got caught in between trying to dunk it and trying to lay it in. There's Lucas, bounce pass, Bruckford, bait line jumper, no good. Fight for the rebound, Giddings out of there with it. Underneath to Klein, out to Pothoven, three-pointer is good. Eric Pothoven, a sophomore, buries the three-pointer. Pella Christian continues to pull away, 56-23. Balster lobs it underneath. Tipped away. Giddings there for the loose ball. Here's Eric Pothoven. Pulls up. Off to Giddings. Underneath baseline. Van Gorp turns, shoots, and doesn't get the roll. Schmid out of there with the rebound for Pella.
Giddings won't get the assist on that because Gorp didn't get the bucket. But that was a nice pass.
Balster misses. Rebound battled for. Bruckford gets it. Long shot from the outside by Schmid is no good. Gets his own rebound. Kick it inside to Van Dyke, and he is going to be called. No, they're going to call Van Gorp for the blocking foul, and Van Dyke will go to the line for 1 and 1. 6 minutes, 8 seconds to go. Pella Christian 56, Pella 23. Wade Van Dyke, he's got 4 points tonight. First free throw is good. Well, Gord, you were telling me an interesting story off air about the Pella Christian uniforms. Can you get into that a little bit for us? It's kind of a unique story.
Well, I'll tell you, the younger kids are wearing the better uniforms because they ordered a new set of dark uniforms, and the varsity kids didn't like the way that they fit. They didn't like the way they felt, so they went back to the old ones, and the younger kids get to wear the new ones. So my freshmen play Knoxville tomorrow morning, and we have to wear the dark uniforms over there, and they get to wear the brand new uniforms. So uniforms that the Pella Christian Eagles are wearing tonight, I would say are approximately 4 or 5 years old. You know, they get a new set probably every 3rd or 4th year, something like that, and they decided they were going to wear these the next 3 or 4 years.
You'll certainly have the best-looking freshman team in the state.
That's right.
Sometimes you see the underclassmen teams in some pretty horrendous old uniforms from time to time, from school to school.
Everybody goes through that. You keep the set, and I'm sure when I came to Pella Christian, there were some with these old belt buckles on yet that were 15 years old. Fortunately, we got rid of those.
Free throw is made by Eric Pothoven. 57-24. Pella Christian leads it. Second one is good. And it's 58-24.
Eric Pothoven is 8 for 8 from the line for the evening.
There's a steal by Eric Pothoven. He goes in and lays it home. Pothoven with the ball. He gets it off to Smith, and Eric Pothoven tips the ball out of bounds. It'll remain in the hands of Pella.
And this is about the break point, Paul, where starters can play about 3 minutes in the fourth quarter in a game like this, and then that's it.
Ryan Klein comes out of there.
I think that's kind of the unwritten rule in regard to coaching.
Pella loses the ball out of bounds, and it'll be Pella Christian's ball. Vandermolen is still in there. Eric Pothoven is in there. Winja has checked into the lineup. Van Gorp and Geeting rounds out the Eagle 5. Here's a steal by Kevin Pothoven. Took it away from Eric. Goes in for the layup, and it's good.
Eric Pothoven on one end for the layup, and Kevin Pothoven on the other end for the layup.
Turnabout is fair play. Here's Geetings on the baseline. He lost it, but Pella kicked it out of bounds. Ball ended up going off the heel of Randy Smith, even though Geetings was the one who really made the mistake on the play, losing control as he went in for the shot. Lob into Van Gorp. He pulls it down, shoots, gets the basket, and he's fouled. Excellent shooter's roll that time. The ball hit the iron 4 or 5 times and went down, and shot at a three-point play here for Van Gorp. 62-26 the score. Kyle Jansen comes in for PC.
According to the stats I'm keeping here, Pothoven has 19 on the night, and Geetings has 15. Those are the two leading scorers for Pella Christian.
Van Gorp with the shot. It's good. And we're going to have a substitution coming in for Pella Christian. Greg Ecoff in for Van Gorp. Full court pressure again by Pella Christian. Some of the younger guys getting an opportunity to play the press. Valster takes it in the forecourt for Pella. Better watch out behind him. Vandermolen sneaks in for the steal. Here comes Winja pushing it up the middle of the floor. Dishes off to Jansen. Cross-court pass is knocked down, and Kevin Pothoven ends up carrying it out of bounds, so it'll belong to Pella Christian.
I think this is what you see in veteran coaches, too. Wares is still coaching, and Jerry Nichols still coaching, and I think that's important to both squads for upcoming games.
Winja misses on the three-pointer. Kevin Pothoven with what you'd have to call a freshman mistake. Double dribble. Was pushing the ball up floor, wanted to make a pass, and picked up the dribble, and then decided, now maybe I don't want to pass, and tried to dribble again, and that's a no-no. Turns the ball over to Pella Christian. Kyle Jansen works against Kevin Pothoven. Dishes to Geetings, who will turn and shoot off the glass. Good. Muscular young fella able to put the ball up through the outstretched arms of the defense. Three-point opportunity by Smith is good. He's 1 of 4 on three-pointers tonight, makes it 65-29. Grosso with the basketball. He gives it off to Jansen. Here's Winja, three-pointer. Rattles around, no good. Smith comes out of there with it. Randy Smith inside. Bruxford loses the ball. Rosa has it. Spins, gives it to Winja, who'll go in for the basket. Shot is good. Layup by number 31, Brad Winja. Near steal in the backcourt. Pella maintains possession. They better hurry. Valster has it. Ball knocked down. Rosa with the steal. Goes in. Shot no good. Tip try. It's good by Jansen. Pella Christian continuing to hound on defense. 69-29. Drive into the hoop. Smith gets the bucket, and he's going to be fouled by Geeting. So Smith with an opportunity for a three-point play. He has 7 points tonight. Substitutions into the lineup. Darrell Veenstra for Pella Christian. And Lance Klein for Pella. 3:24 to go in the ball game. Pella Christian 69, Pella 31. Free throw is missed by Smith. Rebound taken away by Ecoff for Pella Christian. Jansen presses it up, dumps it off. Veenstra's shot is missed. Rebound by Van Dyke. Out to Kevin Pothoven. Here's Balster going in. Nice move. Shot off the glass is good. Nice change of direction that time by Mike Balster.
That was a fine move.
Here's Winja pushing it across half court into the lane. And now play getting awful ragged. We have a foul call on Randy Smith.
Ball is tipped and tipped and tipped, and each time we get 5 feet further away from the basket toward the half-court line.
Winja to go to the line. 6'3" junior. And he has done some awfully good things off the bench today.
Brad's got fine moves. He does have to work on his control a little bit. He's got to play within himself a little bit more. But he'll get better. He's got good moves.
Misses on the free throw. Rebound gathered in, however, by Ecoff. Now the ball getting thrown all over the place. Winja's open underneath. Dribbles, and that was a mistake. Gets the ball back. Misses. And Van Dyke has the rebound. Might have had a better shot if he just went right up with it. Instead put the ball on the floor. The defense converged. Balster shot good from outside. Nice Balster with 8 points tonight. And he's played a fine 4 games. Jansen shot no good. Rebound taken away by Van Dyke.
Now we're seeing a lot of one-on-one stuff now and not much teamwork. Whoever gets the ball first will put it up.
Balster is going to be called for the player control charge. As the baseline taken away nicely that time on defense by Darrell Veenstra. 6'2" junior from Pella Christian. Veenstra weighs in at 207. Big fella. Winja pulls the trigger, gets it into Jansen. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go.
Now you notice George Wares is working on his pressure. And of course this is for the next ball game and maybe 2 weeks from now and maybe 4 weeks from now.
Veenstra off balance. Oh my. When you're hot, you're hot. No points for style, just for putting it in the hole.
You're right on that.
We're going to have fine for Pella called for a travel. And that'll give the ball back over.
Let's just say that wouldn't be a 10 if it were an Olympic dive, right?
Pella Christian with the basketball, 71-34. Eagles lead by 37. Here's Rosa driving in. Layup shot is good. Good looking move that time by Kevin Rosa. Makes it a 73-34 ball game. Biggest lead has been 40 for PC. Pella with the basketball. Now Pella Christian out of there with it. Winja out in front of the crowd. He goes in for the layup. Brad Winja with an easy bucket. 75-34. Minute 5. Outside jumper, no good by Vogelaar. Ball out of bounds. It'll belong to Pella Christian. Here come the substitutes. Now Pella Christian, in fact, will call a timeout as Jerry Nickel wants to bring in a collection of new players, and I'm sure George Wares will also bring in some new fresh faces. 75-34. Crowd starting to make its way towards the exit. The outcome of this one has been pretty well cut and dried for a while. Folks hanging out to the last minute and taking advantage of the timeout to get a jump on the traffic out of here.
Yeah, I think some of the people in the within the Pella city limits probably would have been better off walking when you end up with this many people, because it's Kuiper Gymnasium is clear over on the west side of town, and there's one way in and one way out. So you either get a jump on it, or when you get out in the parking lot, you wait a while.
One of the good things about doing the post-game interviews, Gord, is by the time I get out of here, some of the people who are leaving now not only will be at home, they'll be thinking about breakfast. Steve DeBryan with the ball for Pella Christian. He's in the lineup now. Almost a steal by Jamie Bogart, but Jamie loses it out of bounds. Eagles put it in play. DeBryan has it. Baseline jump shot is missed. Another shot is missed. Here comes Jamie Bogart. We'll slow it up. Three-point opportunity is on the way by John Rippencroft, and he nailed it. John Rippencroft off to the three-pointer.
I've never seen a shot from the three-point range that went down in line drive fashion, but that did. And all net just skimmed that front edge of that rim and bang.
Pella Christian with the basketball. Shot on the way, no good by Jason Rosenboom. And Pella comes out of there with it. 5 seconds, 4, 3. DeBryan comes up with it for Pella Christian. Throws a baseball shot down to the other end, and that'll be it. Final score is 75-37. Pella Christian got the points piled up in that quarter. Scored 24 points to 14 for Pella in the fourth quarter, but this ball game really never in doubt much beyond the end of the first quarter. It was 19-10 at the end of the first quarter. Out to a 9-point lead. Either way, but they quickly stretched it into 26-10 advantage, and the game really was in hand at that point for the Eagles. Pella Christian ranked 4th in the state on the Des Moines Register poll. Will go to 1-0 as they open up what promises to be a very interesting season for Pella Christian, hopefully a very successful season for the Eagles. And don't forget, Tuesday night they take on Washington. We'll talk about that ball game a little bit more as we have Jerry Nickel come up to visit with us a little bit later on. Well, Gord, this ball game did turn out as it was supposed to on paper.
No, that's exactly right. And I'll tell you, Paul, when you start practice on November 13th, and you're going to start with all new kids, and here it is the 1st of December, so, you know, what do you got in? Maybe 14 practices, 15 practices. There's no way that you can go with the team that George Lance had last year, a state tournament team that finished as a state runner-up, and then put a ball club on the floor that's going to compare with experience. Pella Christian beat Pella last year in the first game of the year, and then they played each other in the district tournament when Pella was really on a roll and just playing excellent basketball with experienced kids, using mainly seniors, and then you come back the next year. It almost seems like you kind of pay the price for having played that many seniors. And in a sense, Pella Christian has the same situation. You don't do anything about it. You know, I mean, you look where the talent is in particular classes. This year, Pella Christian is in that particular position. True, there's Eric Pottover, who's a sophomore, but basically, the kids who are going to play ball all year long are senior kids, and then next year, you have to rebuild. And there's just not enough time from November 13 until December 1 in your first ball game to be able to put everything together. It's difficult because you work on fundamentals over and over again. You probably don't scrimmage as much as what the kids would like, and it's difficult to put it all together in a short amount of time, and that's basically how the game went. I mean, it was experience versus inexperience, and when it comes to guys, generally, experience is what pays off.
Put yourself, if you will, Gord, in George Ware's shoes for just a minute. What are the positives that he draws out of this game tonight?
Well, I think, for one, you draw on the fact that you've got kids with good character, and they aren't going to give up. You know, you play a game like this in other places, and I've seen kids put their heads down. You know, when it gets to be 26-10, and you're facing an experienced ball club, I mean, you got to be a little bit realistic and say that, they're not going to come back. Yeah, you got to work at what's the next game and what's the next one and so forth. And I think that's what he's got to dwell on. Look, kids, you worked hard. We've worked hard since November 13. We've got to keep doing that. Good things will happen to people who work hard. And he's got some young kids, the Pothoven kids. The point guard's going to be a good ball player. Balcher's going to be a good ball player. There were other kids in their freshman class last year that I felt were good ball players. And he's just got to keep working at it. I think he's got to tell his kids, and I'm sure he is, because he's a veteran coach, is, look, kids, we forget about this one. Look what we did to them, last year. That's what you got to work on and think about a little bit. And let's think about the tradition we established, and we'll get it done. We'll get it turned around. Sure, it's a big loss for the kids because with it being an inner-city rivalry, they're reminded all the time. They see those kids. So Kevin Pothoven sees Eric Pothoven next Sunday, and there again the thought comes back. Yeah, you just killed us Friday night. But you got to forget. You got to build. You always got to look ahead. That's the case with anything.
Kevin's probably going to see a lot more of Eric than he cares to in the next few weeks, I suppose.
That's probably right.
We're going to take a break. We're expecting visits from both George Wares and Jerry Nichols a few minutes down the road. We'll bring it right back to Kuiper Gymnasium in a moment.
Tonight's game is brought to you.
Doubleheader between Pella and Pella Christian tonight. Pella Christian boys winning in the nightcap, 75-37. I had it down 37. They had 38 up on the board, I noticed, just as they turned it off. So unless we had a three-pointer sneak by us there at the end, we will double-check on that. Sort of a moot point, I guess. In the girls' contest tonight, Pella defeated Pella Christian 49-47. So I guess, Gord, the good sign is that everybody goes away with something to smile about.
And I guess that happens every year. It just seems to me that's the way it is. Not very often I can remember has either one of the two clubs swept the other. And it seems like if our girls were expected to win, Pella High was the underdog, they'd come through and win. The boys' situation's been like that once in a while. So it's an interesting ball game. It really is. And no matter what the talent, you can say, well, we're down this year, and boy, we already got kicked around a lot. But it all evens out. You have cycles where you end up with really fine athletes, and you have cycles where you have average athletes and sometimes even below average, and you wonder how in the world you're ever going to come out of this because everything's so mediocre. But, right now, Pella Christian has fine ball players in each position. They got good guards, they got good big people, wing people play well, and, boy, when you get that combination, you're going to have a fine season. Pella Christian is going to have a really, really fine year.
From the Jerry Nickel point of view, of course, we can ask him ourselves when he gets up here in a few minutes, but when you double the score on an opponent, obviously you've had a good basketball game. As a fellow coach of high school basketball at the freshman level, did you see anything in the Pella Christian game that would be cause for concern? Perhaps when they would get out of their game from time to time. That's what stood out in my mind the most, is a negative, quote-unquote, if you will, from this lopsided victory.
And I guess I wouldn't be so concerned about that if I were a coach because of what the score is. I think that comes because of a lack of concentration. If it's a tight ball game where every play means something, then I think that, and you are making mistakes in crucial areas in a tight ball game, that's a cause for concern. But that's difficult to make a judgment on in a game like this. But, I guess I see more positives. It's difficult to see a negative in the way Pella Christian played. I've always been impressed with Martin Gorf. Every time he's on the floor, he seems to get a little better. Woody Klein didn't have a game that would be up to his standards tonight, but he didn't get the shots. Brent Yeating got the shots, and Brent put the ball in the hole. So, Brent's in double figures, far beyond double figures. I think it was in the first half, so he might have had 15 or 17 points. Young sophomore, Jerry Pothoven had around 19. So, I think it's a good start. I'm sure Jerry Nichols looking forward to Tuesday night just to see how they'll match up with Washington. I'm sure that's probably already on his mind, and he'll probably talk about that even more than what he will this particular game now that this one's passed.
bright spot on the Pella side of things tonight would be the play of Mike Balster, the sophomore, with 8 points in the ball game as he played the fine game. Made some mistakes, some young player mistakes. 3 traveling calls, I believe, on little shuffle steps as he went to make his offensive move, but by and large played a fine basketball game, especially as a sophomore. Well, Jerry Nickel is stepping in. Congratulations, Coach, on an impressive victory, 75-37. What was the final score exactly? We had 75-37 up here, and notice they had 38 up on the board just before they shut it off.
Yeah, it was 75-37, though.
70. I knew I couldn't be wrong. Well, Jerry, game went according to form of what was on paper anyway. You coming back with a lot of veteran talent, and Pella with a lot of young players. Any surprises on either side of the ball for you?
Well, I felt that a couple of our veterans did not have real good ball games. I don't want to say I'm disappointed in their play, but I feel that they had very mediocre games for them. I thought that both Ryan Klein and Mark Van Gorp got off to kind of slow starts, and Balser did a great job for them, for a young sophomore kid inside, had a couple big blocks of shots on each one of those fellas in the first half. So I guess I was a little surprised that Balser played as well as he did as a sophomore for them in the starting role, and I didn't think that probably Klein and Van Gorp probably played up quite as far. But, they're the co-captains, and they're wanting to get this season going, and they probably felt a little more pressure being the old men on the floor. So the other kids, though, I really was pleased with the way they picked up the slack, and I just thought Brent Giddings did a super job on the boards early in the ball game, and in fact all night long he was a tough man inside, and I thought Brad Winick came off the bench and really gave us a lift action-wise. I mean, he does a lot of things on the court, so it was good for me to see that, because now I know, I thought we were 6, 7, 8 deep out there, and I feel that we are.
When you look at the flip side of that, if you try to turn the so-so game by the veterans into a positive, you saw these other players step forward and have great games. Brent Giddings, so you look down the road in the season when Van Gorp and Klein are having their good games, and if Giddings can continue to, and also Pothoven out front, well, then you've got a loaded team that an opposing defense really can't concentrate on.
Well, that's really, Paul, the way we feel about our team. We feel that we have 5 guns out there, and I think, as I told you earlier in the week, that I feel that on any given night, any one of the 5 can go out and score in double figures for us, and I'm not so sure that we can't even bring the 6th man in and let him do that. So that really helps us, to have that kind of depth and to be able to do that. And it was good for us to, get into that tonight already. I thought that Troy Vandermolen really sparked us on defense. I thought he was the one that got our defensive pressure cranked up in the first half. He picked up 3 fouls in the first half, but I thought he was the one that give us the lift that made the other kids play harder, and you got to have that. I thought from the point of view of team-wise, it was a great team effort, because Winick could come in and pick up Klein with no problem at all. And I was very pleased with Pothoven's play out front. It was the first time he's ever started a varsity game, and he plays very well.
Let's look ahead to Tuesday night. A big one, Washington coming in. They did grab that #1 ranking in the Des Moines Register preseason poll, so Washington obviously expected to do great things this season. They have a lot of talent coming back from a good team, a state tournament team last year. Give us a little preview into that ball game Tuesday night out here at Central.
Well, Washington's a great team. When you got 3 starters back who were your 3 leading scorers a year ago, you can have 3 starters back that didn't figure in those roles. They got the 3 top scorers back, and the top rebounder in Brown, who is definitely an all-state player. They're good shooters. They are very good shooters. They're a patient ball club. They work for the good things, and then they put the ball in the basket. So we again, I think, probably have to try to up-tempo the game. We have to use our height advantage, which we will have again inside. We have to try to utilize that. I really don't feel Washington puts quite as much pressure defensively on as what Pella did here tonight. Pella always puts good pressure on. George does a good job with the defensive end of things, and I think that's their motto. I noticed on their jackets, defense wins championships, and I think that's pretty much what they're living with. And with a young team, they'll definitely come around before the season gets too much longer, too. They've got a good nucleus to build on. I think he's doing the right thing.
Congratulations, Jerry, on a fine victory, and good luck Tuesday night against Washington. We'll be there for that one.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Pella Christian head basketball coach Jerry Nickel as the Eagles 75-37 over Pella High School. And we'll have George Wares join us in just a couple moments. Tomorrow morning on the Coach's Corner program, we will be talking with both of our boys' coaches, along with also coaches from Knoxville. 1 hour Coach's Corner starting tomorrow morning from 10 to 11. And George Wares and Jerry Nickel will join us tomorrow morning to talk some more about tonight's ball game and also look ahead at the high school basketball season for Pella and Pella Christian. George Wares, Pella basketball coach, coming out of a game like this as the coach on the short end of a lopsided score, it might be hard for somebody on the outside to find positives, but I think there were a lot of positives out there for Pella.
Well, we knew going in that Pella Christian had a great basketball team, and we were concerned, quite frankly, about being able to play with them. And we saw some positives. I thought early we played some decent defense. We got killed on the boards a little bit. We worked hard on screening out and did a respectable job, but not enough, especially the Geetings kid in the first half had a lot of offensive boards against us. And I thought from an individual standpoint, Mike Balcher played very well for a sophomore. So we saw some positive things. We knew it was going to be difficult. They have a great team, and they stuck it to us.
When you look at the ball game, what do you draw from it to work as a positive down the road? What do you draw from this game when you get back into the gym on Monday or Saturday, whenever you practice next? What do you draw from this game? What do you tell the guys to turn it into a positive?
Well, I think it gives us kind of a barometer of where we are now, because we played one of the better teams in the state of Iowa and got beat decisively, but it kind of tells us exactly where we are and some things we have to work on, like obviously our offense. We spent the first 3 weeks of practice trying to get the kids to understand some things defensively. We worked hard on the rebounding part of the game, and we haven't spent a lot of time offensively, and that looks like it, obviously. Now, part of that was a tribute to the fine athletes that Pella Christian has, but we're going to have to spend a lot of time with our transition game, our half-court offense, and get the kids believing a little bit more in that and getting them to be more aggressive to the basket. Obviously, we were very tentative, and you expect that with some young kids. But now, I guess, playing a team that good, we know this is where we're at and some things we have to improve on. And it's kind of like last year when we got beat pretty decisively. If you play somebody that's not that good, you might kind of get a false sense of confidence, and we obviously don't have that. They really showed some of the things that we don't do very well, and hopefully when we look at the film more, some more of those things will come out, and the kids will see it as opposed to us just telling them. And when it's easier for us to tell them in practice to work on it.
Looking down the road, got a big game next Friday night, a week from tonight, against the team that is being picked as the South Central Conference favorite going into Knoxville. Can you make enough progress in the next week to play with Knoxville?
Oh, we hope so. We don't have a whole lot of choice in the matter, but Knoxville will be a very good basketball team. They're always very well coached by Dale. And with the returning kids they have, they're going to present us with a lot of problems, and I think they're a legitimate pick to win the conference. It's kind of funny, though. It seems like a lot of times, regardless of the differential and experience or talent, that turns into be a pretty good basketball game. So maybe just the rivalry factor in the conference opener will get our kids pumped up enough that we'll have a pretty good effort next week. And obviously after that, we've got Newton and Indianola. So we tell our kids right now that we probably play the toughest schedule of any 2A in the state, and somehow we've got to survive that. We've got to make sure the kids keep believing in themselves, and regardless of the outcome and from a score situation, we keep playing because it's a long season, and 4 months is a lot of time to try to get better before tournaments start.
Thanks for stopping up, George, and congratulations on a good effort tonight against Pella Christian. Pella basketball coach George Wares. That's going to wrap things up for tonight from Central College. Thanks for joining us on KRLS, the new 92 FM for high school basketball action, Pella versus Pella Christian. Final scores once again in girls action. Pella defeated Pella Christian 49-47 in the boys contest. It was Pella Christian 75 and Pella 37. Our next broadcast will be Tuesday night as Pella Christian takes on Washington in boys basketball. We'll be on the air at 7:45. Our next Pella broadcast next Friday night, boys action, as Pella squares off with Knoxville. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope that your team was victorious tonight. I guess you can't go wrong with Pella winning the girls game and Pella Christian winning the boys game. That's going to wrap things up tonight for KRLS Sports. I'm Paul Clark. Have a very pleasant Friday evening.